The sports world we love is being infiltrated by NFTs, and in this video I'm going to tell you how Tom Brady, among others, made $1.3 million in just a few minutes using this strategy. So jumping right into it, the real question is, what do NFTs have to offer to the sports world? For those of you who aren't aware what an NFT actually is, I would refer you to one of many different videos that I think are excellent on explaining the topic, and I'll link those in the description below. But suffice to say that it's a blockchain technology and it stands for non-fungible token. Moving right along from there though, we want to understand why and how these are becoming more and more popular in the sports world. So there are really only two main areas where these NFTs are seeing success in this realm, and those are as collectibles, which is, you can imagine, like a trading card or memorabilia or something like that. It's very similar, just digitized and on the blockchain. And the second would be as tickets or access to things like games or parties or certain things like that. An NFT can grant you that access because it's something that to represent that ticket or that access card. Now, as we jump right into this, you have to realize that even though NFTs, as we've seen in the past couple of years, have been selling for millions and hundreds of millions of dollars, this isn't necessarily new when it comes to memorabilia and collectibles. For example, in the sports card trading world, a Tom Brady rookie card sold last year for $2.25 million, which demolished the previous record of 1.7 million, and just goes to show that there are some collectible items and pieces of history that people really want to have access to and to own. There are lots of collectors with a lot of free cash that tend to buy these things. So even though NFTs are going for insane amounts of money, it's not necessarily unheard of. Now, the way that these NFTs are used, I think, is very interesting. And a great example of that I'll talk about near the end of this video is the Golden State Warriors just released a one-of-one NFT that didn't actually sell. They were anticipating to sell for 200 Ethereum and no one actually bought it for any price. So we'll talk about that a little bit later in the video, but let's jump right into some of these collectibles that people are using today. So let's talk about NBA Top Shot. Now, this is the mastermind of Dapper Labs, which they've gone into so many sports and really dominated this collectible market with NFTs. And they've helped to create this fifth largest NFT project of all time called NBA Top Shot. Now, over the lifespan so far, they've already sold over $886 million worth of these little highlight clips that you can own as an NFT. Now, this is a really important time to note that these NFTs have crazy spikes and droughts in value. And it's probably the same with rookie cards and things like that. I owned baseball cards for a very long time, binders and binders full, and ended up just giving them away a few years ago because the value and the perceived value over time changes and fluctuates so much that it's almost more difficult to try and play that game. And that's why there are professionals that take care of that and they're really good at it. But as far as NFTs are concerned, this NBA Top Shot was much more valuable in early 2021 than it is now. That being said, they have sold almost $1 billion to date. And the way that project works is that they sell collector's packs, similar to how you would buy a pack of baseball cards from Topps, or you'd buy a pack of Pokemon cards. And they sell them in these packs of clipped highlights, and you don't necessarily know what you're going to get. You buy these clip packs and you could get a LeBron James dunk, or you could get essentially nothing. And the huge benefit to NBA Top Shot is that they have worked with the NBA and the individual teams to license those clips so they can use them and they can make money off of them. And I think that really helps the legitimacy of the platform itself. In general, with an NFT, you note that the artist still holds the copyright for much of the property that they're selling. And there are some instances where they've sold the copyright with the NFT, but that is not always the case. And that's an important distinction with some of these projects. But NBA Top Shot, they have worked with the NBA and they are continuing to work with and partner with them to create these licenses. Similarly, over in Europe, Sorare, which I'm sure I'm pronouncing that incorrectly, did the same thing for soccer. And they've worked with 215 different clubs, at least their website says, to license these clips and these highlights and these trading cards that they've turned into an NFT project, and they're continuing to have success in that market. So now let's talk about Tom Brady, because that was the intro to this video. He has made over $1.3 million in just a couple of minutes with a launch of his NFT collection, and it was a massive success. He's also even started his own NFT project called Autograph, where others can partner with him and they can release their NFTs on this platform. And it's really become more popular to use a platform like this to sell an NFT and use the clout and the network of the site itself in order to sell more and generate more hype for your project, because that's really what you need. If you want to sell an NFT, you need to generate hype. You need a lot of people to buy into the initial mint so that they'll be interested in it down the line, and you'll make a lot more money. So on December 9th, 2021, Tom Brady released his Origins series of NFTs, which contained 16,000 pieces of digital artwork that represented a lot of different things from across his career. and they had varying levels of rarity as well. Some of these include things like his college resume, they include his rookie card, and many things in between. Each of these NFTs, and remember there's 16,000 of them, sold for $80 in the initial mint, and that turned into $1.3 million. It sold out in just a few minutes, which was unbelievable. And some of these NFT projects have done the same, where even from the mint, they sell out like crazy. The craze at the NFT market was really as large as it has ever been in 2021. We have seen that start to fall off, and that's why I want to transition and talk about this Golden State Warriors project that I was following and is the reason that I made this video. So let's go back in history to when the Golden State Warriors became the first NBA franchise to officially launch their own NFT collection. Now, I mentioned things like NBA Top Shot and others that have licensed content and they've sold that as an NFT, but this was the first time that an actual franchise launched their own NFT project. So the way they did this is they set up a bunch of different digital artwork pieces that represent part of the history of the Golden State Warriors, and they sold those in different lots across an entire mint. Now, there were only so many of each different type of NFT, and the mint price would get you a random allotment of one of these NFTs. There was also a single one-of-one NFT that was supposed to be the most fantastic of all, and it came with actual limited edition real items along with it. So the person who won this NFT, this one-of-one, would actually get a custom-made ring representing the 6 different championships that the Golden State Warriors have won. Now, this one-of-one NFT did not go with the initial mint, but it was a bidding process, and it went insane. They ended up selling this NFT for 285 Ethereum, which was unbelievable and unheard of. Based on today's value of Ethereum of roughly 2.6K, that's $740,000 for this digital piece of art. That is insane and kind of crazy to me, but that's why we're making this video, because we want to talk about what happened next. So the Golden State Warriors just last month released another NFT collection specifically for this year's NBA playoffs in 2022. So the way they did this is they set up gswnft.com. They went right through the same process that they did with the original Legacy collection for this new playoff version of the NFT. And what they said is that when you mint your NFT, it could be a really common one, it could be a really rare one, and you don't really know what you're going to get. But once you do get it, it has certain unlockable content that you can get as the Warriors go through the playoffs. So obviously those NFTs will become much more valuable if the Warriors win the championship, or at least advance through a few rounds of the playoffs. And the way the team intended to bring a lot of hype to this is through a ton of articles and things like that, but also from the fan base that saw the success of the first NFT project, and they knew that, okay, if people see that this first project is super successful, they'll spend a lot more money and be a lot more willing to take a gamble on this next project. So what they did, they still have the one-of-one NFT, and that comes with a physical product. This time it's a customized bar of gold, which is pretty cool, I think, but it's 285 grams, so it's like this big, but still cool. And the minimum price that they set, now this is what's interesting, was 20 Ethereum. And only 8 people ever bid on this one-of-one NFT, and the maximum bid that was sent in was for 10 Ethereum. So even to this day, the mint was about a month ago. They've sold all the other NFTs, or at least most of them. I don't even know if they minted all of them, which is in itself kind of a failure of the project. But most of the NFTs are reselling for about $10, some less, some a little bit more. Not a lot of confidence in the project, but this one-of-one NFT never sold at all. So the Warriors never actually got any income from that. Even the guy that bet, 10 Ethereum on this project, he's not going to get the NFT because the minimum price, I think, is 20 or 25 Ethereum. I'll put it on the screen here so you can see. And I'll link to the project overall so you can understand kind of what happened and why it didn't succeed. I did not end up minting an NFT with this project because the value that was set to the unlockable content is a huge risk. First of all, you're taking a risk on whether the Warriors will win at all, but also the value that they started out as was $500. You had to spend $500 just to buy a single one. And not all of them were minted for $500. And even those that were are now selling for pennies on that dollar. So NFT projects in general and in the sports world right now are really hitting it off as collectibles and tickets and access points, but you really have to be careful with the hype versus the actual value and utility of any NFT. Now, as far as cards and trading cards are concerned, you can see that value because a rookie card of Tom Brady from right at the beginning of his career may not have made it through history to now, because those cards are traded by kids and they get out different places. They can be out in the weather and get ruined. And going through history is actually a piece of interesting memorabilia itself, because you just don't know if those things are going to make it through. It's like a home run baseball by Babe Ruth has has been there since that day. It's not just a digital asset, it's a physical thing that was there in that moment. And I don't know that NFTs are going to pull that same nostalgia and value to the actual collectors, but that remains to be seen because it's such a new technology. My overall thoughts, my overall opinion is that without a significant utility and real world value for these NFTs, they don't stand much of a chance because of that aspect of digital persistence. They just really don't have that rarity and that excitement and nostalgia that a physical item would have. But maybe that's just old school and I just need to get with the digital times. Anyway, hopefully that was a good overview of what the NFTs are doing to sports right now. Some of the projects that are out there, there are so many more. If you want a follow-up video about this and to talk about more projects that exist, let me know in the comment section below. Or if you have any questions, put them down there. I love to chat, and we'll see you in the next one.